What is up, guys? Brendan Hancock here with another episode of Groove Subaru today. And today we're taking out the 2018 Subaru Legacy, in particular the 50th anniversary edition. Now, they did make 50th anniversary editions for all of the model lineups for this year, celebrating 50 years of history for Subaru here in the United States, which all started with our Subaru 360, which started being sold in the US back in 1968. So to kind of celebrate how far we've come with all the awesome cars along the way, they came out with a 50th anniversary edition. So right now we're driving the Legacy, but they did make one for the Outback, the Impreza, the Crosstrek, and they're all in this really cool heritage blue metallic color, which in my opinion kind of reminds me a little bit of the Twilight blue metallic, if you guys are familiar with our lineup. Now, all of the 50th anniversary editions, they did come, excluding one thing, which I'll get to in a second. They made 1,050 of each of them, all in the same color, all same trim, trim and option package and stuff. They come with slightly different accessories here and there, so prices can vary a smidge, but not too much. But they're all kind of in the limited trim levels, which are fully loaded with leather, eyesight, adaptive cruise control, lane keep, the navigation, fully loaded basically for the model lineup. Now, the only difference between the number of cars that they made between like a Legacy and, for example, the WRX STI and BRZ is with those cars, they made 1,050 total of all of those cars. So right now we're in the Legacy. This is the 2.5i. You can get the 50th anniversary edition also in the 3.6, although the 2.5i is far more popular given its additional fuel economy. So the nice thing about this car is not only do you have more interior volume space, for your passengers than any other mid-size sedan in its class, but it's also standard all-wheel drive and gets 34 miles per gallon on the highway. So I'm gonna turn this fan speed down. It's getting a little loud for us. Now, we've done some reviews of the 2018 Legacy. There's a lot of stuff that is different for this model year from last year. So it's still on the same chassis. It's not on the global platform or anything there. But a couple things that they did do, they did slightly modify the suspension tuning as well as the steering. So we have a little bit tighter steering ratio to give us a little bit more driver feel, feedback there from steering. And then they've also done quite a bit to the suspension, which is sort of modified it to make it a little bit more smoother over the bumps. They're definitely kind of going in the direction of what the global platform feels like, although it's not quite on that yet. Other than that, they did some additional things to insulate interior cabin noise. So the Legacy's been pretty quiet, since they've made this body style starting in 2015. We've always had the noise insulating windshield up front, but they have added this year on the sides noise insulating windshields up front too, to decrease the amount of noise coming from outside, and creates a very, very nice interior cabin ride. Now, this being the limited trim level, it does come with all of the goodies, including keyless entry and push to start, leather seating throughout, including on the steering wheel, the shift knob, and everything else. Any real place that you would put your hands or touch are all nice leather, soft touch surfaces, excluding, of course, up here, which is designed to look like leather. It does kind of come in there pretty, blend in pretty seamlessly, but it is definitely not leather. But if you're driving like this with your hands up here, that's probably have bigger issues to worry about there. So a couple features this does also come with. You do get the 8-inch Starlink infotainment system. That's one of the biggest changes for 2018 from 2017. So this is our all-new system. It does come standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And since this is the loaded limited, you do get the navigation on here as well, actually, as part of this. This is going to be through TomTom now, although SiriusXM is still providing the traffic information, so you're making sure to get the best route there. A couple other things that they've done. Down here where the climate control changes are and everything, pretty much the same. The only real differences that they're doing, they've kind of changed the layout a little bit, and they also have the actual temperature kind of digitally displayed here in the center of the knobs, which just kind of make it look a little bit more high-tech. But pretty much everything else down there the same. Heated seats and everything look the same. But in terms of the actual driving experience of this car, I do like it quite a bit more. The modifications they made to steering and suspension are pretty mild, but overall, very, very nice car to drive. This is not by any means the WRX or STI. Obviously, you can get this in the 3.6 engine option, which we're not driving at the moment, but that does cut down a little bit on fuel economy. You're looking at horsepower changes of 175 to 256 from the 4-cylinder to the 6-cylinder, sacrificing roughly 4 to 5 miles per gallon on the highway. Take a nice turn here with a little bit of speed. Very minimum body roll, which is really nice. Like I said, this is not a sporty car by any means, but the nice thing I do love about this, other than being quiet and nice over the bumps, is the visibility out of this car. That's one of the things that Subaru is known for 100% across the board, is visibility. And one of the biggest things and reasons that that happens is because the way that the engine's designed. So you have a horizontally opposed engine, meaning it doesn't take up a lot of vertical space. So the engine sits nice and low in the engine compartment there, so that the hood actually slopes down quite steeply, so that you actually get much better visibility over the front. You're also going to have a very, very thin A-pillar here. Now this is really, really strong A-pillar to protect you in a rollover accident, but it gives you exceptional visibility because they've actually moved the side mirror off of the A-pillar here to give you this extra third window, which means really anywhere you want to look, you're going to be able to see. Now in terms of the actual side mirrors themselves, they are kind of that satin chrome finish, which we're seeing, if you saw in our other video, you'll see pictures of that. But they have changed the blind spot detection to actually be on the inside of the mirror here. So you really don't even need to look over here. You can actually see it out of your peripherals if there's a car in your blind spot. The other things that this car has, since it is kind of a fully loaded limited, it does come with the eyesight option package standard with the 50th anniversary edition. So you will get the pre-collision braking, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, which makes this car one of the safest cars out on the road, and it's an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. Now my favorite feature here has got to be the adaptive cruise control. And what this does is it will actually, just like regular cruise, I can just tap this button here and hit set it to whatever speed that I want. And then it's going to lock onto the car that's in front of me. So right now it's locking onto this Honda Civic that's in front of me. And even though, you know, I have my cruise set to, I have it set to 35, so right now I am actually going 35 miles an hour, but there's a red light up here, and I can actually adjust the distance it keeps between me and the car in front. And each one of these bars that you see here is going to represent seconds of travel time. So I can go anywhere between 1 and 4 seconds of travel time. So that car is slowing down, coming down. I have it set to 35 still, but I'm slowing down 25, 20, 19, 15, 10, all the way to a nice complete stop. Now, a question I get all the time is, do I need to be using adaptive cruise control in order to have the car brake in an emergency scenario? And the answer is no. But when you're using adaptive cruise control, the car knows that you're relying on the technology to do all the work for you there. So, you know, it's much more gentle, and it slowly cuts your throttle and brakes for you. Whereas pre-collision braking really is giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're paying attention, until it's like you are absolutely not paying attention, gives you a visual and audible warning. It's like, and it slams on the brakes. So it's always working unless you decided to turn it off, which in this scenario is on our control panel over here. But you probably really never want to do that unless you're going into a car wash where you put the car in neutral and it actually pulls you through. That would really be the only time you want to turn that off. I'm going to turn adaptive cruise back off. Now, I could, even though it brought me to a total stop, all I would have to do to get that to resume would just tap up on this little toggle here to resume that, and it would go back to where it's at. So I don't have to go back up to 40 miles an hour to reset my adaptive cruise to 40. I don't know if you guys can see that, but my blind spot was just going off there. Now, as I mentioned, the pricing on these things can change a little bit depending on which accessories and things that you have. And you also can get a 6-cylinder option with this as well. People always ask, you know, do I need the 6-cylinder? Is the 2.5 adequate? The way that the CVT transmission is designed is it's very, very peppy in and around town and things like that. Really, the only place you'd notice the 6-cylinder versus the 4-cylinder, one would be at the gas pump, and then two would also be if you're flooring it onto the highway. But if you're not, you know, driving up to the mountains like every week, you know, or you don't really have a lead foot and you don't really care about weaving in between traffic and stuff, I think the benefits that you get from having the 2.5i are plenty adequate. Now, me kind of being more of an driver enthusiast, if they had a twin turbo 8-cylinder Boxster engine, I would say that's the best option choice. But for most people, that's not gonna, you know, be what they need, and for most people, the 2.5i is plenty adequate. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have not done so already, please do subscribe to our channel. We've come so far in these last 2 years. We have about 2.5 million views right now, over 5,000 subscribers, and that's all thanks to you guys. We started with literally nothing, and we've come so far, so thank you guys so much for that. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already for more videos like these. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on Groove Subaru Today. Take care.